Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker Spoilercast. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
Is it the Skywalker?
What did I say?
The Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker?
Yes, that is what
because
you said.
I went Rise of, I forgot to say the, so then it became the Skywalker.
How we doing?
Everybody, buddy. So, I lied a little bit last week. We said we were taking this week off. We're not going to do a full podcast, but the Skywalker saga has ended. We would be remiss if we didn't get together and nerd out about it. So that's what we're here to do this week. If you can, we're not going to do the whole rigmarole and everything. This is just movie review. It's been forever since we did one of these specifically for a movie. My God, it might have been The Last Jedi. No,
we didn't do it
because you were over in Europe.
Oh crap, that's right.
I just saw it with Brittany. Yeah, or was that Infinity War?
That was Infinity War. Wait, when did Endgame come out?
Endgame. It came out this last April.
When? Oh, April?
Mm-hmm. This last April. Okay, but when?
What specific date? No, I was here for that. Yeah, that was Infinity War that I saw in Europe.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyways,
it's been a while.
It's been a while. I really think it has been since Last Jedi.
It could be.
Because that was after Justice League. 2018, we stopped doing audio. Yeah, I think that was it. Anyways, it's been a while, but we're here because we're going to talk about this. And if you couldn't tell by the title of the video podcast, I think I'll put this up on audio too, because what the hell. This is a spoiler cast where we are going to talk about spoilers. Is that recorded? Yeah, it's recorded. Okay. There's too much stuff on the thing. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Okay. We smiled. We smiled. It's been a while. So
what's in that cup?
What?
What's in the cup?
No, water. I was thinking about getting vodka and Kahlua for Christmas Eve. Would you partake in some Russians that are white?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think it would do.
I'm still recovering from 2 nights ago.
I heard about it from Brittany. She's like, it's 8:45. He's still asleep. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was out of commission all day.
So yeah, we've given you enough warning. Do you want to give spoiler-free thoughts at all?
No, let's just do it.
All right, we're just getting into it. It's all spoilers. It's in the title of the video, the audio thing. We're gonna spoil the hell out of this movie starting right now. Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was fine. Better than Last Jedi. Because I thought it was
fine to good. I think I like it more than most people.
Okay.
The way I think I can sum it up best, which I did in my notes, it is flawed. Fairly flawed.
You're flawed. We can't take a week off from podcasting.
It was flawed, but fun. Episode 8, for as flawed as it was,
pissed me off.
I just don't think it was fun.
No.
You can say what you want about this movie, good or bad. Maybe you don't like the way things turned out, but to me, it was at least fun. Last Jedi was not fun.
No, like I said when we did the podcast last week, Last Jedi made me feel like Rian Johnson hates Star Wars.
Like, I feel like even the people, well, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for people that really liked Last Jedi, but like, I think it's possible to like a movie and say it is a good movie and it not be fun. To me, there's nothing fun about that movie.
Yeah.
Some people may think it's good. Some people clearly think it's great. I thought it was okay, but it just wasn't fun. This was fun. It was, like I said, I think fine to good, but it was fun and it felt like Star Wars.
I've got a lot of issues with this movie. I almost wanted to text you from my seat and be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Why did that just happen? None of this makes any sense. But again, still overall, it's probably like a 7 out of 10. I like that. Let me go down to my likes because I'm going to yell a lot in this. I like that the core 3 were actually together for this.
Oh, God, I forgot I had those.
Wow.
I was like, what
Okay.
is coming out of my iPad? It's because I packed up my desk at work. I didn't get fired.
The core three actually got to be like they were not together almost at all in Last Jedi. Like you're basing this new trilogy around these three people.
Well, it was weird. I had forgotten until I got. Yeah, I saw that before. I had forgotten until I got like to the end of Last Jedi that's the first time Poe and Rey are together.
Yeah,
Like he introduces himself to her at the end of Last Jedi. I'm like,
like
wait a
how
minute.
are we
I'm
two
like,
movies
oh, no,
in?
I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I do agree. It was cool that everybody got to be together for once.
It was beautifully shot. There's a lot of good scenes in this, but I've got so many issues with this movie, and I'll just get into it. First off, the first like 30 to 45 minutes of this is going way too fast. It's like here, there, and it's like, do you want to know what pisses me off? And I didn't even realize it when I was watching the movie, but I realized it after when the opening line of the crawl, the dead speak. You want to know where that shit came from? Shoot, you want to know where that came from? You want to know when he spoke and people heard him? In the Star Wars Fortnite event.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So at the Game Awards, they said and the opening crawl says the dead speak.
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine is blah, blah, blah. The dead speak, the first time he spoke and he sent out this like Force FaceTime or whatever to the entire galaxy, it was shown in the Fortnite X Star Wars event after the Game Awards.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So Fortnite just even gets into Star Wars now. It's just ridiculous. I just thought it was skipping around way too much. We just start and Ren. At first, I thought he was kicking the Knights of Ren's asses, and then it was like, oh no, these are just aliens. Whatever, who cares? He's killing everybody. He's gonna go to this planet, and it looks super cool and foreboding and everything. And then I'm like, are y'all just doing it right from the very beginning? It's like 2 minutes in. Well, there's Palpatine. It's like,
well, that's the thing. One thing I read online, just somebody's opinion, but I'm sure many people have this opinion. Again, I feel like regardless of your thoughts about episode 8, you could skip it entirely and not miss a beat. You could watch 7 and then 9 and know everything you need to know, which goes back to what was the point of 8? What happened in 8 to further the story? To me, nothing did.
No,
because
I
I
agree.
really feel you can watch 7 and then just 9 and be totally fine and not be lost or anything.
yeah, because in 7 you had heard of Snoke, you saw the vision of him and everything, and then in this he's like, Snoke was just somebody I made up. Snoke wasn't even, but then it's almost like, what the frig are we doing? Snoke was never like a real bad guy. He was just somebody that was cloned, and then you see a bottle full of Snokes, and I'm like, well,
But so it's like,
what?
that's why...
But I also don't believe for a second when JJ and everybody says this was the plan all along. Bull crap. You only had to do this because Rian Johnson came in and screwed everything up.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, there's enough in this movie for 2 movies. And I don't want an episode 9 part 1 and episode 9 part 2. This should have been episode 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Elaborate a little bit, split it into 2 movies. There's 8, there's 9. That's how I think this whole thing should have played out.
I agree. And I heard that from a lot of people when they were reviewing it, that it was like, this should have been like a 4.5 hour. There's like, it feels like there's like 4 to 4.5 hours of content here that they just cut down to 2.5 just to make it one movie. And it was JJ trying to do a lot of, what's it called? Damage control and everything. I don't know. What do you want to say? Because I've got a whole...
basically all my notes are more or less negative. That's not to say... I mean, I did enjoy it, but...
Well, mine are kind of... I kind of try to make mine go like in order.
So, what I will say... I do think it ended well. How it played out, you can argue whatever, but like everything is done. Everything's like nice and neat and tied up and put a bow on it and whatever. But it's weird because when you think back, that's how we ended with 6 too. And then we still got another trilogy. So it's like, part of me is like, yeah, it ended, everything's put to bed now. But it's like, that means nothing. That doesn't mean
Right.
we can't go, like, it's never the end.
Yeah.
I did think I liked this part, but it also kind of annoyed me because it's like copying Marvel. The part at the end when it's basically they might as well have said on your left.
I said out loud, I said on your left.
Yeah.
Like it was like you can't even like I know it's all Disney and everything, but I was like when all the ships show up, I literally said out loud. I think I went to and I was like on your left. He was like, huh? What are you talking about? But I was like no, and then
yeah, that's Nick. And the other thing, which I'm trying to think of what was actually said. It was right at the end. It was when I think it was right before Rey kills Palpatine. He said something, and then she said something, and what I was not literally, but what I was expecting her to say was, "I am Iron Man," because she said I don't know if she said I am Rey or I am. Oh no, he said I am all this shit, and she's like I am all the Jedi. And, yeah, and I'm like, okay. I mean, they took some. I guess they took some notes from Endgame. I guess
you're kind of summing it up. It's like I just don't feel like nothing at this. Like you said, yes, this is the last movie in the the Skywalker saga, but it's like nothing felt like this epic build. Like I think both 3 and 6 felt like more of an end to a trilogy than this did. It's like from everything from the whole plot made no where the frig has Palpatine been for 30 years?
He's building Star Destroyers.
I've got 1,000 Star Destroyers, and I've got all these rogue people, and they may not be people. They may be manifestations of my Sithness out there, and my fingers look like they're just like toothpicks. And
by the way, Snoke, the whole Snoke, like every movie, they've pissed me off more about the whole Snoke thing. Like there never should have even been a Snoke. It should have just been the Emperor from the beginning. If they would have just done that, and then not even done Episode 8, like you said, like yes, you're 100% right. Like,
or just somehow say, like, don't kill off Snoke. Find out that's somehow the Emperor. And he's all disfigured because he got all jacked up when they killed him at the end of 6. And Snoke is actually the Emperor. Like, do that. Don't just be like, here's Snoke.
He was
well, now he's cut in half and he's dead. By the way, here comes the Emperor. Like,
and he was just a puppet. Not all your thoughts, everything he said, I was just controlling him. And whenever you heard your grandfather, it was me. You never actually heard Darth Vader. It wasn't this, blah, blah, blah. But what the hell? But Kylo can do the Force FaceTime thing, which that has now gone to another level.
Force time?
The Force time is ridiculous in this movie, and they explain it with this Force dyad, whatever crap. I'm getting madder the more I talk about this movie already. But, like, he can't see where Rey is. But then he somehow reaches out, I guess because they have the Force dyad, whatever they called it. And he grabs the necklace off of her across the galaxy. And then is like, here, like, get this analyzed. Oh, it's on this planet at this festival. Cool, let's go there. What? Like, they alluded to this in 8 when Rey's by the water, and he's like, what the hell? And that time, and when that happened, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. But at least that was just water. This was like, he physically grabbed something off her. And then when you're in the throne room in front of Vader's statue thing, like, were they actually having a lightsaber fight across time, across space, in 2 different places? What the hell? Were they? I mean, you could say that it was just Rey saw this and they were doing whatever. They could never actually hurt each other. Then Rey's the one that actually hit the stand that the mask was on. I don't know. I don't know. I liked in the opening. I liked when it started off with a cool space fight and everything. Poe's awesome. He was doing the light speed skipping stuff was super cool. Made no sense because they said in the last movie you have to have trackers.
That was the thing from that when I texted you the other day. That was the thing in that, I think it was IGN article you sent, that I'm like, yeah, that's the thing that bothered me. I'm like, didn't we just talk about the last movie how this is impossible, but they could do it because they had the little tracking thing? Why are these TIE fighters able to follow them, not just through one light speed, but like 3, 4, 5 of them.
Boom, boom, boom,
And they can
and
track
they
them
just-
through all of them. Like, just follow your own, like, lore. If you're going to come up with some stuff, I don't know, stick to it.
Right. I don't even know what this meant. Well, I wrote Snoke was a creation. It was all Palpatine, whatever. I said cool callback to A New Hope. I don't know what it was at this point. What would it have been?
I'm thinking of Seinfeld when he wrote the note in his sleep, and then the next day he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I can't even remember any of the things.
No,
that
I know
people
what
say
you
it
mean.
says,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's that.
And then the next thing
I
I,
don't know
wrote
what that
was,
would
where
be.
were the Knights of Ren all this time?
Yeah, well, that was one of mine. Is like, it's nice that episode 8 came and went, and then somebody finally realized, oh yeah, Knights of Ren, let's do something with them. Like, yeah, where were they through all of episode 8?
I do think it was weird too, and I'm not trying to just crap on this movie, but I think it was weird that as soon as Kylo showed up at the end, at that point he was just Ben, I guess. They were like, "No, screw you. We're gonna kill you." Like, but you're the Knights of Ren. And I meant to click on the article that actually said what Ren actually means, where it comes from and stuff. So maybe that would make sense. But I'm like, you guys are his boys. So now maybe if your leader has been like, yo, I messed up. I'm going to get my blue lightsaber now. I got rid of the red one. I'm going to be a good guy. Let's all be good guys. But no, they're like, no, screw you. We're just going to kill you. I guess it makes sense because, you know, Palpatine's doing whatever. But
Well, the other thing, not that it's a huge deal, but it just it kind of irked me. Like, so they just fixed the lightsaber.
that was my next note. I said, how is the lightsaber intact?
Like, I'm
it's-
not saying it can't be done, but like, you don't even mention it.
The
It's
only
this
thing-
the crazy like cool shot and of the lightsaber,
And it was awesome. Yeah.
And then it's back, and then it's just back, and it
The
doesn't
only
look like
thing-
you can see it like welded to. It's just
No.
it's just whole again.
The only thing I could notice is right around the middle of it, there was like, it almost looked like a strap of leather or something that didn't used to be there that kind of went around. And I'm
Really?
like, okay, maybe, but like, I was trying to think back to the Last Jedi when that thing broke. It didn't break clean.
it broke
was
in
like-
half, but it was yeah, it wasn't just
Yeah, but I
down
was
the
like, there's
middle.
no, and Leia is training Rey. By the way, I think they did as good a job as they could have done with all of Leia's scenes. It was like we talked about after the movie. There's a couple times where it was like, they have nothing for her to say.
Well, there's an episode of The Office. I'm trying to think of what is going on. It has something to do with, so Daryl is, maybe it's when he's doing the thing with Jim, when he's starting the other company.
Athlete.
But Daryl's like, hey, he's doing like a talking head thing. He's like, all right, look, I got a lot of stuff to do today. I got to get going. Can we go ahead and record some of these things ahead of time? Wow. That person has truly gotten him or herself into quite a bind. And that's basically what Leia is in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they actually use that later in the Office episode. So it's like, let's just take some generic dialogue that we've already got her recorded saying and just find a way to make it into the conversation.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I get it. You can't,
Right.
you can't just not have her in it. And like you said, I guess they probably did about as good as they can, but it was very,
But
it was
again,
very obvious.
but I said after the first time we watched Last Jedi, when we were doing our review, because she had already passed away by then. Yeah, because she passed away a year before that. I was like, they should just put in the opening crawl, like the first line should be General Leia Organa has been killed or something, and just be like, that's it. Like, we're not trying to shoehorn it in. Let's just take the story in this direction. Just put that as part of it. That the first order, the final order, whatever you want to call them, killed Leia, and this is what's happening. And you could still do everything else. Like, she really, it was good that she was in the movie, but she really served no purpose. Like,
Right.
we got the flashback, which that was weird.
She was hardly in it more than Rose.
Good. We got the flashback where apparently, so Luke was training her.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, and they both the helmets, and it was like that actually looked like young Carrie Fisher, and that looked like young Mark Hamill, and I was like, that's weird. That actually, and it's dark and whatever, and they've got a helmet on, so it's not like Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know how we got off on that. When I thought that Rey killed Chewie, I was pissed. Nick told me after the movie, and I don't know why I didn't pick up on it. He was like, yeah, when she shot that lightning at Chewie, we probably should have known that she was a Palpatine. I was like,
oh, I thought about it.
good job,
then.
Nick. I didn't even think of that when it was happening.
There was that, and then there was something else. Oh, when she healed the snake thing. I'm like,
This goes back to episode 3.
this is kind of, that's like a dark side kind of power. And then she shot the lightning, and I never really thought like, oh, she's a Palpatine. But I was like, I don't know. Something, I don't know why I didn't think that, because I thought something, but it wasn't that. But yeah, I'm glad. That's cool that Nick picked up on that. I have here written down here. Wait, somewhere. Where is it? Oh, when at the end of the movie, you're supposed to think that Rey is dead. I like Rey. I like Finn. I love Poe. I like this cast. But it says something that I was way more upset when I thought Chewie was dead than when I thought Rey was dead.
When Rey was, I was like, first off, she's not dead. Also, yeah, I really don't have a connection to this character.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I thought when Chewie's ship blew up, I said, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You might have even heard me from a few seats down. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But also, why the hell did they think he was dead? How the hell are they looking at this ship and they see, like, Finn is like,
Finn sees
Rey,
Chewie get taken
got it.
onto a ship. The ship takes off. Rey blows it up. But then somehow that wasn't the ship that Chewie got on. Like, what?
So they wasted. I didn't want Chewie to die, but if you're going to do that, then you probably should have just killed him. Like, don't just do a fake out for a fake out. The whole C-3PO thing was so stupid from the commercial. It's like, I'm taking a look at my friends for the last time. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, and he's like, I'm translating. This is where the Sith thing is. Boom. And then R2-D2's just like, yo, here's a flash drive. You're good. Okay.
Well, so we talked about this off the air, too. He's like, I'm programmed to not be able to say this. Well, we can do this thing where we like wipe your memory and then you'll be able to say it. And then he's like, oh, but if you wipe my memory, then I'm going to forget what I read. And then they're like, oh, well, R2's got like a storage unit, but it's not always that great. Okay. And then they wipe him, but apparently he still did remember what he read because then he said it. And then he got wiped the rest of the way or something. I don't know. And then he got, I don't know. Like, how did he still have that information and only that? Maybe they explained it and I missed it. I don't know. But like, how did he keep the one thing that they needed to after they wiped him so that he could say it? He remembered that. I don't know. Like,
around this time, I was really face palming a lot, so I may have missed something as well. But yeah.
Yeah, it's possible they explained it, but to me, like, what?
By the way, speaking of face palms, I actually watched Solo, and it was pretty darn good. I was pleasantly surprised. You were right. It didn't have to happen, but it was a good movie.
Yeah,
it was fun. Hux is the spy. This is the moment where I was just like, it was right around this when I was just like, this movie is pissing.
I'm glad they still killed him off. I'm like,
off.
I don't try to make us like this guy.
I don't
like,
care about
come
him.
on.
Like,
and
I don't
then they
care
just
that
shot him. And then
was he a
whatever.
spy the whole time?
No, he's a
Kylo
spy. I think
Ren.
starting at the end of Last Jedi,
Because he
when
just
Kylo
wanted, because he said,
basically-
I just got to get, Kylo's got to die. Basically. Yeah. I didn't like him being the spy. I liked whoever this brand new general guy is just being like, yeah, if you boink, you're dead. But I thought it was stupid that he was the spy. And then it was right after that. I'm pretty sure it was like within 5 minutes they're like, you are my granddaughter. And it's like, so Kylo was telling the truth. Her parents were nothing. Oh, so actually, guys, we didn't retcon The Last Jedi. Her parents are nothing, but you didn't ask about who your grandparent is because your grandparent. Gross. First off, who the hell did freaking Palpatine have relations with? How is that even a thing?
That'll be in the next trilogy.
God.
They'll
Or did he
cover that.
like force pregnant? And whoa, that sounds weird. Did he use the force to just put his seed into some? Okay, never mind. It's all going off the wall.
So one thing I have here,
like I literally said, you've got to be. kidding me? And I face palmed. I did this. I was so like, okay, she's not a Skywalker. We'll just go the complete opposite. She's a Palpatine. Fuck this movie. Like,
so I'm being a little facetious here, but like, so were her parents truly nobody? Like, if she is so special and gifted and whatever,
right?
Why weren't her parents?
They had to have something going on.
That's why I wrote here. I said, does the Force skip a generation? Like, why were her parents just nobodies, but then she got all of his powers? I don't know.
I hated the twist. I almost would have rather. And I heard some people groaning around me too, like, you've got to be kidding. Like, it's. But again, I just feel like it's JJ just being like, why did you say her parents? Why did you basically say she's a nobody? And I get what he was trying to accomplish. Anybody can be a hero. Anybody can rise up. Blah 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 blah.
But they should have just taken that and ran with it. I didn't think so at the beginning, but I've read it, after. I'm like, that definitely would have been better. Don't have her. She is just nobody. Anybody can be a hero, whatever. Don't have her be like, oh, I'm Rey Skywalker. Don't even just have. They should have just had her be a nobody. But then it's, well, you can't call it Rise of Skywalker. Then you got to come up with a new name. And right up until the end of the movie, I was like, why is this called Rise of Skywalker?
I kept saying it every 5 minutes. I was like, what is it?
Even after, this doesn't. I'm like,
I was
well,
like,
is
I
it
guess
because
Solo?
Ben?
Yeah, but he's not a Skywalker.
He's not a Skywalker. He's a Skywalker by blood, but not by name. I'm like, is that he rose because he came out of the pit? I'm like, is that why they're calling this Rise of Skywalker? But okay, I guess they fixed it at the end. But
I hate it. I don't. It's not. So
the next thing I have, and again, we talked about this a little bit. At the end, when everybody's like celebrating, what are these ships, the Star Destroyers, they're showing like over Endor and is it Jakku? They're like Star Destroyers up in the air and they're blowing up. That's not where these were.
There.
These
were
all
in
Exegol.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why are they seeing one lone Star Destroyer that's clearly there? It's not like they're seeing it on Exegol. Like it would be it wouldn't even be a dot. Like it wouldn't even be there. Like what are these random Star Destroyers that are also blowing up or whatever?
I think it was just to try to be like, this is what happened in Return of the Jedi, so we're going to do it in this one. I'm like, well, but it actually made sense because you were fighting right up there.
Right.
Like, they could see it happening.
Also, I don't remember. I'd have to watch the end of episode 6. Doesn't the Death Star just blow up? I can't imagine the Death Star just and just crashes into Endor.
Yeah.
How is it still? I mean, it's clearly not whole, but it wasn't even whole when they blew it up. How did how did it end up just crashing into Endor and
just in the lake?
Mostly one big piece when it just blew up?
Also, this super awesome, cool Sith artifact knife is a knife that just shows you where something is that happened 30 years ago. Not like generations ago. No, it's just like take the little compass out and go. I'm like, well, they just made this 30 years ago when the Death Star fell.
And it's a good thing she stood in that exact
yes,
location.
Because if she was 5 feet this way,
it would have pointed to a different spot. Like, oh, God.
At least Rey didn't actually go to the dark side. At least the vision was what we thought it was. It was just a quick whatever. But then again, like, there's so much weird. Was she actually fighting Sith Rey? Like she made they've blurred the lines so much in these last 2 movies of what is like actually happening and what's not with all this Force time stuff that like I don't know. I don't like. She clearly thought she was seeing it, but then I guess it goes back to Luke and in Empire, right? When he goes to the cave and he sees Vader, and then he kills Vader. He sees himself in the mask, whatever. I don't know, but
why do they keep making these like super weapons with like one teeny tiny flaw? Like, yeah, we got all these Star Destroyers, but if they blow up the gun, the whole thing is going to blow up. If they actually shoot the gun, like, and
also, why do you not? Yes. Also, why do Star Destroyers now? It's like, yeah, you went from Death Star to Star Killer. To what the hell?
No, you just blow them up
Star Destroyer. Yeah. And it actually, I mean, they're called Star Destroyers for a reason, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But like, why? No, it again. I don't. I wanted to like this movie. I really did. Why? Here's what I really do not understand. And maybe I was just so flabbergasted at this point that I missed something. So Kylo is fighting Rey on what's left of the Death Star in the water. That looks scary as hell, by the way. The way that they did the water.
That was
I was like,
that was
holy
cool.
crap. And again, this movie is absolutely beautiful and it's well shot and everything. It just doesn't make sense. So he's fighting Rey, and then he gets a FaceTime call from his mom.
And he's like, huh? And then Rey stabs him.
And
like, is that what Leia was doing? She's like, I know what I've got to do.
But that's what I'm saying.
And then what she has to do is say, Ben, huh? Stab. Like,
what? Why was that? Why did that? Because we were never led to believe that she was actually near death. So, and she said something before. It's like, it's the last thing I have the power to do or something. I was like, what are you talking about? You've been fine this whole time. You freaking got sucked out into the middle of space and we're just, ooh, and now you're just going to make a FaceTime call and that's going to kill you. But I'm not even being facetious here. I don't know what actually turned him. Cause then, mom, stab, heal. Oh man, dad. And then they went full like Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman. We're like, the dead dad's just showing up, and it's like, is he actually here? Like, remember when? So, part of me also wonders if what actually killed Leia wasn't FaceTiming him, but if it was somehow if she projected Han to him.
well, but remember,
Because she was already under. I mean, she was under the
doesn't
sheet.
disappear till he dies. At the end. Yeah. So did she kill? So did she kill Kylo and Ben, and then just force healed Ben back to life and not Kylo? Like, how does he become? And like, he's
That's
so
what I'm
like,
saying. What made him
he's so
snap out of it?
Bad, right? He's so bad, and he stabs his father and shows no remorse and doesn't care and whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to be a good guy now. Like, why? Is it because Rey killed him and that killed Kylo, and then she only brought Ben back? Like, at that point, was he already good, or was he still Kylo until he saw Han, and then that's what?
I saw an article that was like, I didn't click on it because it was from that stupid comic book now site. It was like, why Kylo Ren's redemption was better than Darth Vader's. I was like, I freaking hate this site so much. Like, one of the things I did like, though, when he was talking, first off, I didn't think Han would be in this. So
no,
when
that
I
was
saw
cool.
him, I was like, awesome. And they completely call back to the Force Awakens, and I don't know if I have what we were hoping he was doing at the end of Force Awakens, but like, he's going to kill his dad. Like, I know what I need to do. I don't know if I have the strength and whatever. And this time he actually, instead of killing his dead dad already, he turned and he just chucked it in the water. And I was like, okay, well, damn. All right. I don't know what he's going to do now. He doesn't have a lightsaber. Of course, he could just go. But I like that they had the callback to Episode 7 when he was finally. But again, why? Why? Then why'd you ever kill your dad?
Yeah.
So Leia had a lightsaber. It was cool. Luke's X-wing came back to life. This is when it gets to the point where I was saying that this movie is the Metal Gear Solid 4 of Star Wars movies. And our buddy Christian tweeted me, and he summed it up better than I even could have. He's like, well, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I interpret this to mean... He said, well, for me, that means there's going to be some very endearing moments balanced by parts that are equally terrible. Fan service to a point of irony at times, for better or worse. And I was like,
Nailed it.
that's yes.
That's
And then somebody
exactly it.
replied to him that I don't even know who they are. And she was like, yeah, actually, you just completely nailed the movie. Yeah, it's just like I like that we got to see Luke's X-wing. I don't know how the hell that thing can fly. How can that thing fly? It's been underwater now for 35 years or something.
Something like that, yeah. Now, what I will say, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I took it as a... Yeah. When Luke says, that's a Jedi weapon, it deserves more respect than that, or whatever.
I wrote it down right here.
I'm like, that's a shot
I was
right
like,
right.
thank you. That was
I don't know if it is, but I like to think it is.
When I heard it, I was like, I'm taking a note right now because that was an F you to Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you don't just take a lightsaber and just toss it off a cliff or throw it into a burning freaking TIE fighter. No, you don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
So, yes, we both had the exact same thought there. So I guess the way that they explain the whole... So then... Do we know how... maybe I'm just not remembering. Do we know how Ben/Kylo got to Exegol? Because Rey took his ship. He just shows up there. Right? Again, I feel like this movie just moves too fast sometimes.
I'm trying to think of how...
Because Rey took his ship, she crashed it, and that's when she blew it up.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so
I
he
can't
just,
imagine they wouldn't have explained it, but it's also entirely possible.
I don't think they did. So I just didn't understand that. And then so this is when he goes in, he's trying to find her and whatever. The Knights of Ren just turn on him. And I'm like, that again, I already mentioned this earlier, but I'm like, I don't buy it. Like, why wouldn't... And it was weird that he didn't try to turn them to be on his side. He was just like, well, no, screw you guys. And then this is when the Force time stuff just goes to another level when Rey's like, oh, it's gone. And he's like, boom. Now, I will say, as stupid as I think it was, when he pulled out his grandfather's lightsaber, I was like, okay, you got me. It's fan service, nostalgia, whatever, but this is pretty badass. And
Yeah.
it was cool to see him. And I thought they did a really good job with the choreography, because when you're fighting with his old saber, which was essentially a broadsword, you don't swing that thing like you do a normal lightsaber. Like, it's
Right.
it's not a lot of this stuff. It's more just bam. It's more like if you were playing Street Fighter, you're just using fierce attacks. There's no weak attacks,
Yeah.
So it was cool to see him use that saber and to look completely different when he's doing it. I thought that was really cool. But again, I just don't... The Knights of Ren, they set them... I remember when we walked out of the theater, I was like, man, the Knights of Ren are badass. I can't wait to see what they do with these guys in the next two movies. Well, I don't know. What did you think about him? Basically everything
cool.
from when he almost died, when he turned face, to where he showed up on Exegol, and yeah.
I mean, it was cool. I don't really have a problem with it. It was definitely fan service, but I think it was done well once you get past the whole like Force teleporting thing. I will say, and this has nothing to do with this movie, it's really Star Wars in general. Why, and we talked about this, I think, when I talked about Last Jedi, why can lightsabers just, it's like arbitrary on what they can and can't cut through? Like when he's fighting the Knights of Ren and they're like blocking lightsaber attacks
With like a pipe.
with like a spear. Yeah, like whatever those are made of, just make a suit out of it and
you're
you're
good. They can't do
invincible.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the other minor thing, why is Rey, who's like full on Jedi now,
She's
and has
so overpowered in this
and
movie.
has
Yeah.
a lightsaber, why is she still using the stupid stick? Just use the lightsaber.
Yeah, every
Like,
time she would
pulls
carry
out
that
the
thing
staff,
around,
I'm
I'm
like,
why?
You got a lightsaber now, honey.
Yeah.
Just use that. Why use a stick?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does Finn have the Force? Because and what was he going to tell Rey? Obviously, I think he was going to say, "I love you."
Yeah,
It was going to be like Seinfeld.
that's exactly what I thought. Oh gosh, I don't know.
They hinted that he's got the Force,
I don't think,
or
so.
he's Force sensitive, or something. Because at this point, whatever. Oh, was that Lando's daughter?
That's
it
what I
seems
thought
like
they were
hinting
going-
at it, but they never actually came out and said anything.
Yeah. I don't think so. That's exactly. I thought that's where they were going, and
Yeah.
then they're just, "Where are you from?" I don't know. Well, let's go find out.
Right.
Cut. Like then that's the
Yeah.
end of it. So I don't know. I guess they just leave that open.
I like that Rose didn't screw up the entire mission this time.
Yeah, everybody's all upset online about, oh, she didn't deserve blah 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 blah. And
Shut
it's like
up.
I 100% agree that the backlash that
That the-
Kelly Marie Tran
the actual person got is
was
horrible.
awful and
Yes.
inexcusable, whatever.
Absolutely. But you can still criticize the
the
writing of a
character
character and
sucks.
say the character sucks without, like, well, maybe you can. We can. Like, normal people can separate the actual person versus the character and the writing and the script. And that's what we've always had a problem with. But yeah, I don't know. I like that Finn. It felt to me like Finn got a lot of shine in this movie, and I liked that.
Yeah, I mean, they all did. I think Poe
Yeah.
did, and Finn did, and Rey obviously did.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the new little droid, the little green guy. Thank you. Healthy. Whatever. Like, he's just, I don't even, what did they call him? It was a one-syllable name. What was it?
I don't remember.
BB-8 was fantastic. BB-8 is like right up there, but I do think BD-1 still, like, even after watching
Well,
this, I'm like,
it kind of reminded me of BD, and
Yeah.
I'm like, please tell me this thing is like BD. I thought they were going to somehow tie it to the game,
BD-12 or something,
but
yeah.
they didn't. But I'm like, that kind of looks like BD-1, but
BD-1 is the best. I will lay down my life for BD-1. What else? Yeah. So then the whole thing. So Palpatine's whole plan. He never wanted to kill her. He wanted to bring her to him. So she would strike him down so that she would have all the Sith that ever lived before go into her. If this is your plan, why are you telling her that, like, I want you to kill me so that you become the ultimate big bad? And then,
but if you kill me, I mean, he doesn't say this, but like, if you kill me in this way, then that doesn't happen.
if you kill me with my own powers, you go Kratos
then
with
it
like
voids
two blades,
that,
and
yeah.
lightning, and it just that was pretty graphic. I was surprised that you see like just melting
Yeah.
off. I thought it was just, I don't know. I would love to know 20 years from now if somebody does an interview with Abrams and he's like, what did you want? But I think it's very clear, and I saw Bartolotta tweeted this yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, times a flat circle, that like it's pretty clear no matter what you think about any of these three movies, there was no one saying you can direct it however you want, but this is The Force Awakens. This is The Last Jedi, and it all leads into this.
I can't imagine when they started filming, if not writing, The Force Awakens, that they did not know exactly where these three movies were going. But now I kind of think they didn't. It just seems like they were making it up as they went.
They're
or
three
they had a
separate
plan,
movies.
and then Ryan just said, no, I'm going to
Exactly.
do this instead, and then they had to recover. I don't know. But it's just not a cohesive trilogy.
I didn't buy the kiss with Kylo.
Oh, I didn't even write that down. That was just so. Why would they kiss? Like,
There's nothing.
there's
that's
no
ever been-
reason.
They've never been romantic
Yeah.
towards each other.
It
It
just
was just
seemed like
more.
such a.
They were both just
cliche.
trying to turn the other one to either be good or to be bad for their own reasons,
Right.
to save them or do whatever. And then it's like, we're gonna make. When they were sitting there, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna kiss, aren't they? And then they did. I was like, and then he died right after. I was like, you know what? I don't even go to hell, Kylo Ren. I don't even care. You suck. You're not imposing as Adam Driver. They made the helmet look stupid with the red, like. And how long did he have the helmet on? He put
Like
the
10
helmet on
minutes.
for like 5. Yeah, like why did he even why'd they put it back together and put it back on? I was like, it served no purpose. It just felt like nothing felt as epic as they wanted it to feel. Like it all just felt like the kiss was stupid. All she had to do was get two lightsabers together to shoot the lightning back at him. Somehow Kylo, just like somehow Palpatine survived, Kylo goes, whee! And he goes down the hole and he's like, boom! And he's just crawling back up. I'm like, oh, God. I don't even know anymore. Like,
So I feel like. So episode 3,
yes.
I would think that everybody thinks that is the best of the prequel trilogy.
They should.
Um,
They don't.
If you say it's still not a good movie, that's fine. I can't really argue that. But I think it's far and away the best.
I do too.
Jedi, not terrible, but it's okay. It's just, it also feels very kind of fan service. Oh, good's going to triumph over evil, and let's have all these cute little creatures show up, and they're
I hate them.
hitting stormtroopers with rock like they're defeating them and whatever. And then it just seems like this movie is kind of par for the course when you think of video games or movies or TV shows. Like, it just felt like a series finale in that they're just like, well, let's tie up all the loose ends. And
Metal Gear Solid 4.
yeah. And like, to me, it's not that hard to believe that this movie isn't great, because that's how a lot of these things seem to go.
Well, it's like Dark Knight Rises was not, in my opinion, as good as either of the first two movies.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that I do think this was better than The Last Jedi, but I think far and away The Force Awakens was the best of these three movies.
I'd have to go back and see it again. But I guess what I'm getting at is that it really makes you appreciate what Marvel has done and continues to do. Like, the fact that they
Clearly, Star Wars
nailed-
appreciates it because they tried to rip it off.
like they nailed.
They could not have
Endgame.
done it any better, yeah.
They did a lot of fan servicey thing and a lot of
But it
cool
wasn't-
callbacks, but they
yeah.
nailed it. Like, I don't know. It just makes you appreciate that all the much more.
Speaking of fan service stuff, I do like at the end, though, we went back to the moisture farm. We saw the binary sunset. That was cool. The new lightsaber actually looks pretty cool, even though it's yellow. I don't know if it's yellow, orange, whatever it was. It's like kind of like a little. You click it over, and I was telling Sean off air. I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw another clicker thing on the bottom. I'm pretty sure she's got a dual lightsaber now. So, and I wonder what this. There obviously there's some significance in it being yellow. We've only seen, other than the Clone Wars, it's been blue if you're a Padawan, green if you're a Master, purple if you're Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know what just happened there. Oh, but we both went purple, and yeah.
Well, like, I know, I'm trying to think of the Star Wars game I used to play on my phone. I think, like,
Galaxy Heroes.
Ahsoka, one of those. From,
That was Ahsoka. When
she's dead, apparently, I guess.
Well, no, but yeah, because when she was getting
You hear
up,
her voice.
I had to read the article because I was like, I don't know what voices I just heard, but that was a lot. I mean, I knew Yoda and I knew Luke, and I was like, I think I just heard Anakin. I think I heard like Hayden, but what's going on? Yeah.
So I was gonna say it's kind of like she's finally she's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Even though she's like, oh, I'm a Palpatine, and I'm gonna take the name Skywalker. It's almost like they tried to, at least a little bit at the end, just say she's going to do her own thing. She's got her own lightsaber. It's not blue. It's not green. It's not red. It's not purple. It's yellow, which is different. I don't know that it's never been done before, because I think in like the Clone Wars or
When there was a
whatever-
million of them running around in like the Coliseum. there was
Right,
probably a
yeah.
yellow
I'm sure
lightsaber
somebody,
in there.
I know somebody's had yellow. Maybe plenty of people have had yellow lightsabers, but I don't know if that's kind of what they were going for. They're like, blue's been done, green's been done. Let's make it yellow. Do
I don't
something
think it looks as
different.
cool. I like blue and green so much better.
It doesn't, yeah. The yellow doesn't pop, especially
Especially
when you're
on
on
the desert.
Tatooine.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's yellow already. But yeah,
I will say, though, as much as I was annoyed at this point, though, when you see Luke and Leia, I was just like, oh, it's over. Like, it's really done now. This sucks. And not like this movie sucks, but I was just like, man, I've loved Star Wars ever since I was, sentient. And it was just like, it was a really cool moment. But it sucks. It's just done.
yeah.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention on your left, I expected Jar Jar Binks to show up in one of those damn ships when everybody was coming through. I was like, they're going to do it just because why the hell not? Jar Jar is going to be in one of these ships. Oh, Misa ready to fight you, sir. Luckily, it wasn't. Oh, that was the other thing. The movie reminded me a lot of Aquaman.
Okay.
It felt like a video game. Like, you go from here, your mission is to go to this planet. You got to find this thing. And it's like, no, it wasn't here. So now you
you
gotta
know
go
what? I
over
did
here.
have that thought a little bit
It was
when
like
they
an
were
Uncharted.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I actually did have that same thought for a brief moment during the movie when they were going after the dagger.
Yeah.
Why does this dagger exist?
Because they made it 30 years ago when the Death Star blew up. I don't know.
But like the Sith made it. And it's like, here's how you get to like our secret planet.
It's
Why do
just
they
like-
want people to know? Why would they?
Why did Luke want people to find? If he didn't want people to find him, why give people a map? Like, what the hell?
Oh gosh. So all things considered, I liked the movie. It could have been way better, but it was fun. And whether you like it or not, I think it was a fitting ending. Maybe the way they got there wasn't great, but like they did tie everything up in the end. It felt like a series finale, for better or for worse. I think as much as we're like tearing it apart, it could have been done better, but it's also when you have this like sci-fi universe where you just make up all these rules, and you don't only just make up rules, you make up more rules as you go along, and some of these rules outdo these rules.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to have just a cohesive thing that you can't poke holes in. So I get it. Maybe we're like over
nerding
analyzing.
it.
Yeah. But like it's just kind of its own. When you've got this force, this just mysterious power that can do basically anything, it's almost impossible to go through this many iterations in this universe and not find things that like contradict things that have been done before. But
so speaking
like
of
if this was just Batman, like Dark Knight Rises, not it's good.
it's still good, yeah.
There's a lot of things like there's not much in that movie that doesn't make sense.
Well,
There's
it
a
doesn't
lot
make any sense why the hell he put his freaking like. There's only 10 hours
But
left.
let me go ahead and make my
go.
bat symbol. Right. There's things like it's not like how did he even manage to blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. There's not much like that. But it's Batman. It's as ridiculous as it is, it's still grounded in
realistic.
reality. This movie, it's just when you've got like space and hyperspeed and laser blasters and laser swords and mysterious force powers and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, things aren't always going to just make sense, as much sense as they can make in this universe. So I don't know. I know it sounds like we're tearing it apart. I think I liked it more than you.
You did, yeah.
But
I do want to see it again. I will say that.
what it comes down to, there's plenty of movies that I like. I don't know why this just popped into my head. One of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely my favorite sports movie. Friday Night Lights. When they're doing like their last drive to try to win the state championship or whatever. If you actually look, like the cuts don't you see them like, ooh, they're at the 20-yard line and ooh, a 25-yard completion. Oh, they're at the 45, and then all of a sudden they're back at the 10, and they like the whole nothing makes sense there. But it doesn't. I could pick that movie apart. It does not make me like it any less. I still love that movie. I still cry at the end pretty much every time. This, it's like, it's almost like a hobby where you're like trying to poke holes in. I'm like, why did they do? How did this happen? Why can you do that now? They couldn't do that before. Who is this person? Why are they doing that? And there's just like all these things. I promise you, I like this movie, but there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. But it's not just this movie. I'm sure there are plenty of movies. If I watched every movie with as critical of an eye as I watched this movie with because of The Last Jedi, I'm just like jaded going into it.
Yeah.
I will admit I went into this movie not wanting to not like it. I actually did like it, and I hoped that I liked it. But I was also like, okay, how are they going to dig themselves out of this one? And so, yeah, I kind of went into it just like looking for things that are wrong with it.
Yeah, but I also think too, like everything you're saying, what I'm thinking of, the reason I'm wanting to poke holes in this, and you'll probably agree with me, it's like it's because I love Star Wars. I love this. Like when I watched Solo, I was like, I know this is just a stupid movie that didn't need to be told, and that's not my Han Solo, # not my Han Solo, and whatever. And I'm like, so I don't care. I'm just gonna have fun and watch it. But like, and I enjoyed it. But then it's like when I watch like Batman vs Superman or Justice League or Star Wars or like, and obviously I know Solo is still Star Wars, but what I mean is like the core thing that you really care about. I think that's why it's like you want it to be so good, and I think that's why, at least in my mind, I think that's why I am so like, no, that was good. No, what are you thinking? How? No, I think it's like the more you care about something, the more critical you can be, and the more like because you just want it to be so freaking good, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to say this because I wrote it down here. He takes all of Rey and Kylo's life force and his little,
He's like Shang Tsung.
Yeah, and he's fine, and then he's like whatever. But then somehow, like, how much life force did he take? But then again, like you said, it's like Rey was using a dark power because now he's like, my fingers are normal again. I'm gonna roast you and whatever. And then he's just like, bye, Kylo. He took all their life force, or a lot of it, whatever it would take to make a 100,000-year-old man come back to life, like officially, but not just hooked up to a machine. And then Rey's like, no, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm glad she did, but it was like I was like, is there like an exchange rate or what's happening? Again, like I said, I pick it apart because I love it. I don't think the movie's bad. I just, especially after how much I did not like The Last Jedi, I wanted this to just be like a 9 out of 10. It's like it's a solid movie. It's a 7 out of 10, and maybe now that I know actually what happens, I do want to see it again, and maybe Dad will want to go when I'm off, work for the next week, whatever. I like to go just like on a Tuesday afternoon or something, be like, yeah, what the hell? Let's go watch it again. I know everything that's going to happen. Let's see if I can enjoy a little bit more this time. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
also Babu Freak was awesome in this.
Oh, yeah. I think I would give it, I don't think I can go higher than an 8, maybe more like 7.5. Feels like 7.5 to 8, somewhere in there. Like, it's good at best.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess what I worry about is usually I come out of these things higher than I end up being with them. Like, Batman vs. Superman, 9.5 out of 10. Now I'm like, this is about a 6. It was not that good. It was very, very bad. And Last Jedi, we both walked out and were like, that was awesome. Wait a minute. Nothing makes sense, and I think he hates Star Wars, so I don't know. I definitely want to see it again, so I don't know. Hopefully Dad wants to go see it.
Yeah.
Anything we missed? It sucks. I can't believe it's over.
Yeah, it's
it's good. But it needed to end at some point. You got to end it.
Yeah. I don't know. I touched on all my notes. I don't know if I was ever able to get all of my thoughts down, but I got most of them down.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it again too, because I'm sure there's one or two things that I saw that I thought that I forgot to write down and that I forgot to talk about tonight. But I don't know. I know we just crapped all over this movie. We both did like it, and like Kevin said, we pick it apart because it's something we're passionate about and we like. The same reason why he'll sit here and say that Metal Gear Solid 4 was kind of a hot mess. Like, he loves Metal Gear Solid. He's going to pick it apart. It's what you do when you're passionate about something. So, I don't know. It was fun. It felt like Star Wars again. I'll say that.
It was definitely better than The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And if you like Last Jedi, that's fine too. Can we all just stop yelling at each other?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with people liking something that you don't. And guess what? There's also nothing wrong with people not liking something that you do. Like, can we just not like attack each other over our opinions on movies or games or anything? Like, it's not that big of a deal, guys.
It goes back to what I was saying a few podcasts ago about the whole release the Snyder Cut thing and how people are just jackasses about it. I'm like, who cares if people want to see the Snyder Cut? If you don't, fine, ignore it. If it comes out, don't watch it. Who cares? If people are excited, let them watch it. Who cares?
Right.
Like, I don't know why we feel the need to tell people their opinions. An opinion
is wrong.
It can't be because it's an opinion, but no, your opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
Just
that's the world.
Be better. Welcome to the internet. I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah.
It was fun. If you've seen it, I hope so. Otherwise, you should not have watched or listening to this. Listening it and everybody. Actually did well today. I didn't do so bad with the talking. But yeah, hit the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. Did you like it? You hate it? Whatever. I know Bernardo loved it.
That's the thing.
Solar
I
liked
hope
it.
people loved it.
Yeah.
I know there's people out there that hated it. That's fine. If you loved it, I hope you loved it. I hope people love The Last Jedi. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean I don't think anybody should.
No one
If you
should,
liked
yeah.
it, great. I'm happy for you. I didn't care for it. I liked this one. I'm sure there's plenty of people that liked it more than me. I'm sure there's plenty of people that like it less than me.
Yeah.
Great. That's fine.
And let's talk about it, but let's not yell at each other.
Right.
But don't talk about it too much because don't spoil it for people that haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Yeah, that's all I got. Like I said, we weren't going to do a full podcast this week. We ended up doing a full spoiler cast for right about an hour. So yeah, just nerd out with us. Let us know what you thought about it. We'll be back with a full podcast next week. We'll give you a Christmas recap. I don't know if there's any news to talk about. Everything I've got right now in our document is just a wrap-up item. It's just like blow through these. So, well, it'll probably be really loosey-goosey and fun and everything. And then a week or two after that, we'll get to our game of the year and all that other fun stuff. But yeah, the Skywalker saga is officially over, just like the spoiler cast is. So until the next time, Sean, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you for playing.